It's the Almost Perfect Podcast.
Welcome to the Almost Perfect Podcast, a celebration of fuck-ups, failures, and falling flat on your face. This is a podcast that believes you can learn from experience, but that experience doesn't have to be your own. Hi, I'm Bob Perfect, and I'm a functional fuck-up. Let's learn from somebody else's mistakes. And today we are learning from ByLwansta. Yeah, our first third-time guest, our first trifecta on the Almost Perfect Podcast. And I'm not gonna lie, this is another one of those ones where it was just like, you know what, I haven't heard from this person for a while. I want to know how they're doing. So yeah, I saw Lwansta has a track coming out tonight called ASMR. If you watched MTV Base last night, you would have been able to catch the premiere of that, the IRL premiere, but the URL premiere will be tonight at 7 o'clock. So we chat about that. We chat about all the changes in Lwansta's life since we last spoke, and things are different. Man's be trying to get in some threesomes. It's something we chat about. I kind of maintain that a threesome was never on the cards, judging by the story he tells. But I'll let him tell the story in just a little bit. But yeah, we talk about his more sensual side, because ASMR is a sexy song, and yeah, there's a lot of innuendo, a lot of silliness before we get into the realities of being an independent artist, of having his own label, of wearing the many different hats that he wears as a designer, as a rapper, and then yeah, as a creative director, I guess, as well. So there's a lot going on in ByLwansta's life, and you're going to get to hear about it in just a little bit. Of course, I need to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by you over at patreon.com/almost perfect, where you can subscribe for as little as $1 a month. There's a few different tiers there. There's different benefits to each tier, but yeah, you can go check that out for yourself if you want to support. You can also buy a mug. They are 100 Rand each. 10 Rand from each sale goes to Saucier. Saucier is an organization working to decriminalize sex work. They are for sex workers, by sex workers. You can check them out over at saucier.org.za. Then I'm also selling t-shirts. Yeah, we got t-shirts as well. So they're 150 Rand each, and 90 Rand is the price for delivery. Depending on where you live, it might be like in the 140, 150 range if you're in the sticks. But if you're somewhere reasonable for delivery people to get to, that'll be 90 Rand delivery. I managed to chat. I've got a deal going on. I don't have a deal. I've just got a courier company that I'm working with. But yeah, hit me up, bob@almostperfect.co.za if you'd like to buy those things. I'll remind you on social media soon enough. I know that's something that I need to do. Like, I gotta keep posting, keep reminding people, keep doing the things. But as you'll hear in this chat, I'm so over that shit. But I've got to keep doing it, or else how the fuck are you meant to know that I'm doing this? But like, you already knew probably if you've subscribed and you know about it. But like, it's the getting new people, the getting more people, the growing aspect of all of this that gets frustrating, because it's like it's just this constant fucking churn of like having to post about things on fucking social media, and not feeling it at the moment. Just really not into that thing. But it's a part of the game, and I will probably be posting things on social media soon for you to see, so that you can like them and then follow links and buy things and use the sales funnel, fuck. Oh, what a mess. I've applied for jobs. I've been applying for jobs lately. That's something I've been doing. Mostly copywriting things, but I also applied for an event management position today, which I'm actually hoping I get, because would be cool to hang out with people again. Like, I'm kind of tired of sitting at home writing things. Like, I've been writing my own things lately, and that's been cool. But like, it would be cool for my income to come from something other than having to think of words, just for a bit. Like, maybe we'll so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, trying to do some different shit because living in a pandemic has been interesting, to put it very fucking mildly. Like, it is. Yeah, I've done the things, I've tried my best. I've also gone through other things through that pandemic. So yeah, it would be interesting to do something where I get to constantly be out. And obviously stand-up comedy is one of those things, but I don't know, like, the earning potential for stand-up comedy, if we're being real, is not that high. Like, I mean, depending, like, listen to some of these conversations, like, you listen to the Lisa Gola conversation, yeah, very different perspective to some of what Eric Jansen was saying last week, you know? And I don't know, I think I'm closer to Eric Jansen than I am to Lisa Gola, if I'm being completely honest with you. You know, I don't have any TV credits though, so I'm still pretty far away from either of them, if we're keeping it 100. But yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Fuck. Probably gonna be doing a show soon, actually. Well, pretty much definitely doing a show on the 30th of October at Fulham Coffee. We're gonna be doing it out on the sidewalk there to whoever shows up. So if there's some old grannies drinking coffee, then we're gonna be doing comedy to them. It's gonna be a PG show, which is, I think, the first time I'm doing that. I don't think I've ever done a PG show, but gonna play to the room, as they say. And I think it's gonna be a fun challenge. It's gonna be interesting trying to either change some jokes to fit it, or just, yeah, find which jokes already are within that realm. And then I have been trying to write as well. So cool writing challenge, I guess. And just, I want some stage time, and it seems pretty low stakes to do that. So come on over, check out some low stakes stand-up comedy at Fulham Coffee on the 30th of October. And yeah, that's gonna be fun. Abby Hudson's gonna be joining me. Akil Maharaj is as well. Not that Akil Maharaj, the other Akil Maharaj. Oh fuck! I can't believe I actually did that. Like, I was thinking whether or not I should beforehand, but yeah, there's two Akil Maharajas on the stand-up comedy scene, and I've always said that they should fight it out. I think they roast battled each other. Can't remember if they did. But whichever one, like, you think would have won the roast battle, that one's not the one performing. It's the other one. It's the one who always talks about how shit his life is. So we have a lot in common. But yeah, gonna put it out there to some other comedians as well. If you're listening to this and you're a comedian in Durban, hit me up. BobAtAlmostPerfect.co.za. But yeah, just PG open mic vibes. Come try out some material. And I'll message some people who have already messaged me, because I put some things out there on the internet already saying, hey, if you want to do some comedy, let me know. I've also got a show at a house, at an ex-guest house actually, that is in the works. That'll be sometime next month. So I will let you know when that is happening, and you can come watch some less PG stand-up comedy at an ex-guest of the Almost Perfect podcast's house. I know it's an inviting proposition, but I actually think it's going to be a really cool space to do things in, and we'll probably do quite a lot of shows there going forward. Whether or not the first one works out, like whether there's 5 people that show up to the first one or not, I'm definitely going to do it again, and then probably again and again, and then eventually it'll probably be a thing. And then I'm probably gonna, like, move from Durban, and you'll never see me again. So enjoy those times that we have, is essentially what I'm trying to say there. Anyway, that brings us to the shout out section of the podcast over the $10 tier. It's the titular titles tier. over at patreon.com/almostperfect. You can pick your title right here on the Almost Perfect podcast. And that means I got to shout you out every single week. It's $10, like I said. It's the $10 titular titles tier. It's alliteration. Shoutouts to the shot callers, the big ballers. Russell Grant, who is our Far East correspondent. Shoutouts to Karan Chetty, the assistant to the regional manager. Shoutouts to Kath Jenkin, the inevitable ruler of the universe, and Queen Swifty. Shoutouts to Karan Sleman, the almost perfect hedge fund manager. Shoutouts to our pantsless weasel, that is Tyron Love. Shoutouts to our key group, Neil Green, who is also due for a catch-up call on this podcast. So look out for that. As soon as he's done some shows in Ireland, we're going to chat about that. So if you know anyone in Ireland who is doing an open mic gig, or maybe even some paid slots, tell us to get in touch with Neil Green. Shout out to our Chief Sales Officer of Subtle Heresies in the Greater Overberg region, Rousseau. Shout outs to our Executive Producer, Stephen Olivier. Shout outs to Vishendra Naidu, our Spiritual Advisor. Shout outs to Julian, who is the king. Shout outs to our Director of Purchasing, and that is Riz Ventura. And lastly, shout outs to our anonymous benefactor. Oh yeah, I'm also going to let you know whether you sign up at $1, $5, and $10, I will send you a pack of Almost Perfect stickers just to say thank you if you sign up to the Almost Perfect Patreon. So that's, just a little extra cheese on top of the burger there. So I hope that's the thing that makes you go, you know what? Today's the day. I go to patreon.com/almostperfect. And with that out the fucking way, it is now time for the Almost Perfect podcast with ByLwansta. So how are you living, ByLwansta?
I am fantastic, bro. And that's an honest answer. Lately I've been really thinking about the answers like before I give them, but I've been fantastic
use some
for the
vocabulary
last
there.
couple of days. And it's been in my vocab as of the last couple of months. So I think it's legit. I feel fantastic, bro. I'm living quite all right, as far as living goes, but I'm feeling good every day, really.
That's right. It seems like it. I mean, it seems, especially, you never really know with social media. Like, we're all projecting some sort of reality.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
It does seem like you're feeling pretty good about your upcoming release. So yeah, tell me about it.
What can I say about
Well, this
this
Friday,
release?
let's start with ASMR, and then we'll get into
Okay,
Spajonglitz
cool.
Chapter 3.
Okay, sweet. So the upcoming release is ASMR. It's a single off of Spajonga Chapter 3. And this is the first time I've ever given a single, the normal ByLwansta rollout treatment. Like it's always been something I reserved for projects for no real reason other than the fact that, I've always felt like I'm more of a project artist, every track, heard in context, is the best way I want people to experience it. So releasing a single would always kind of introduce people to the music outside of the context. And, I don't like not being able to quote unquote defend certain things. And, I'm at a place where I don't feel like I need to defend it. But, if the idea is to create a narrative driven body of work, and you completely miss it when the single comes out, it always annoyed me. But then, I don't know, things are a bit different with this single. And, I teased it back in April. I just kind of dropped a video of me jamming to it, and people just started like asking for it. Asking for it was, people were like, yeah, there was crazy excitement, and we're in October now, and it's only coming out now. But it's only because I insisted, okay, cool. If you guys want this thing, let me make it special for you. And by making it special, that means, going through the rollout, everything, touching on all the touch points, looking at my previous efforts when it comes to rollouts and thinking, how do I improve on this? So, from April till now, it's been foreplay. Well, foreplay only really started because it was just, flirting in the beginning. And now there was foreplay with these rollout assets like, yo, I like you. And now it's like, okay, cool. Can you put it in now? And I was like, okay, cool. Let me put it in October. So ASMR, I mean, even that analogy, bro, that whole sexual innuendo is very much related to the ASMR, the song. It's quite a
Yeah,
sexually driven song, which speaks to just my sexual frustration, I guess. But other than that, it's
that's honest. I like it.
it's perfect. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. First, like as soon as it hit me, I think I was sent a beat. It was originally a collab that kind of started the song, and then first words that came to me when this beat came were like the words I start off with on ASMR, and it just took that PG-18 route, and I was like, damn, okay. Clearly I've been wanting
There
to
is no
offload.
PG-18, right?
Really, what did they change it to? Oh wait, no, it's M, isn't it?
Well, there's never been PG-18 because it's
What do
PG-16. I mean,
you
if you're
mean?
18, you're an adult already. You're an adult if you're 18.
Oh, okay. So wait, okay. No,
You
yeah,
can
okay.
just
That
go to
makes
the movies. Like, no,
I mean, listen, so that was actually how it was articulated to me. Like when I sent the verse, bro, I was told, well, I first like gave them like I think halfway through writing, I told them, hey, so the verse is kind of taking this turn. Then they're like, oh wow, cool. Well, let's make it a threesome because it was myself, her, and another rapper. So there was maybe three of us. I'll keep her unnamed for
you're just
now.
enjoying the innuendo, aren't you?
Bro, I love it. I love it. And I'm not even the type to just randomly make like sex jokes like,
You're like an
that's
open
what she
mic, like
said.
comedian.
I like that. So yeah, man. So we're here now about to stick it in. And people have been ready, they've been excited, aroused, and now we're about to drop it on them. And I teased the color, well, not the color palette, I reskinned my whole social media last week as like a cryptic message to, oh shit, something's about to happen. And then gradually I'd start introducing like the Durex inspired logo type for the song, and then suddenly the features. So just gradually, working my way into this clitoris, and then getting to a point where it's cool. I think it's lubricated enough. Let's stick it in. Now we're doing that on
So on
Friday. So
Friday,
that's
you're gonna blow your
ASMR, bro.
load.
Yeah. Yes, that's definitely what's going to happen. But because it's while it's very sexual, I like to think it's very tasteful. So we're both blowing our
Yeah, I
loads, or
wouldn't
we're
get
all
that from
blowing our
everything you've
loads.
been saying.
What? You think it's one sided?
No, the tasteful part.
Oh, okay. No, no, no. Honestly, listen, bro. Like considering like the genre that I guess I quote unquote belong to, this is as tasteful as it could get. When you hear sexual related things in hip hop, it's never tasteful. So I like to think it was like, okay, cool, something you can play at a restaurant, and have a good time to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is Kanye's slow jams.
Yes, actually, you know what, bro? You know what? I was listening to that earlier, and yeah, actually, you know what, bro? Fuck, that's actually so dope that you brought that up. When I think about ASMR, like I was listening to a lot of college dropout. I've got the CD in my car, and I was just listening
Okay.
to it because I think I just wanted a change of. I think it previously, and I think I was changing between Black Album by Jay Z. Because what I do when I hop into my car, I based on where I'm going, I'll choose a CD. So if I've got like a
Fair.
meeting with somebody who could possibly host, my listening session or host my music video premiere, I'm going to put in the Jay Z CD, because he speaks, from the perspective of, a artist entrepreneur, a CEO. So I need that energy. And I think I
If you
attended
need
another
to
Luri's, if I need to.
I was gonna say, yeah, if you need to pick up a bag of coke, you'll put on Blueprint or just some Push Up P.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like that's literally how it is, bro. I need to be ready. And like I'll sit in the car, bro. Like I've started the car, but I'll spend maybe 2 minutes and waste my petrol or if I haven't figured out which CD I want to go out of the yard in. So I have College Dropout in there right now because I don't know. I feel like that's obviously Kanye's first major release, if I'm not mistaken. So I really kind of, wanted to be where he was specifically in that mind state. And then I also went to Drake's uh Take, no, not Take You. What is it? So Far Gone. There's another song called Say You Will. And it spoke to so much that's been happening to me. There's a particular line where he says, and Sylvia be telling Taz, damn, Drake fly. And he just be like, silly motherfucker, I know. That was your bad. How could you pass up on him? And I like that because, as of the last 6 months, people have been passing up on me, bro. I feel like I've been doing such dope shit, as in like behind the scenes, putting together these pitch decks, out like explaining what the entire rollout is. And, I don't think my numbers suck, but they're not like amazing numbers. But you mean I've given you the fucking, the blueprint of this whole shit, and you don't want to fuck with me? So there's a lot that I was like, okay, cool.
Well, that actually
Unfortunately,
brings
people are
up,
gonna regret.
yeah, like a
Yeah,
bit of an interesting topic, I guess. Like, you've been an independent artist for so long. Like, are you now
yeah,
looking towards, getting signed and trying to actually get some finances behind these rollouts? Because you've always had these cool creative ideas and you've managed to make things work, on a
yeah,
fairly limited budget. So what's your
yeah.
mindset with regards to that?
So for me, the next step, from being independent, I mean, the previous step was unsigned. And then when you go to independent, that's a mental, mind shift where you decide, okay, when you're
I'm making
unsigned,
money now.
yeah, I mean that, and also just the fact that if you're unsigned, you're hoping to get signed, because all that needs to happen is that UN in the beginning of the word needs to disappear, and that's like the intention. But when you're independent, you've made a conscious decision to be independent, to you know carve out your own way. So for me, the next step is not to designed, but rather like over the last 3 years, I've been refining the structures at my own, record label and creative agency, Normal.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of things that Normal is facilitating on my behalf, like conversations, meetings, and budget. Like this last rollout, completely funded by Normal. Like Normal has the creative agency side that just is like the sweatshop, I guess, where like if ByLwansta has a rollout, ByLwansta has a vision or something he wants to execute, a music video and whatnot, we go and visit the sweatshop and tell them, yo, you guys need to work faster because we need budget and stuff like that. So we're like servicing festivals, like DIF, Poetry Africa, just helping out with the social media campaigns and art direction, and just doing our time, because at the end of that is a check that's going to kind of fund the next project, the next music video and whatnot. So like the need for a major label, or is kind of lessening for me, particularly. Not to say that they're completely redundant and useless to me, but the conversation I'd be having with them is more of a partnership, where it says, okay, cool, in the house, we are able to do this, create this, do this, develop this, and whatnot. What we want for you is access to, one, your infrastructure, two, your budget, but it's not budget that contributes to, the creative, the art being, the music and the artist development. Rather, it speaks to the packaging, the rollouts. I have rollout dreams, like things I want to do that are just out of my budget. But with this past release, Bob, like, or rather this coming release, I feel like I really, I mean, looking back at my previous rollouts, I've really, leveled up. I've one upped, like one upped. I've one upped, like, oh, fuck, am I getting it right? I've
I
gone to
think
the
so.
next level, basically.
I think one up,
Yeah.
like,
What, one up?
is, yeah,
One upped.
especially because it's just reminding me of an under 18 club that used to be here in Durban. That a group of
Yeah.
friends and I, we used to pool our money together, and we would buy
Yeah.
booze. Like we were like 13, 14, and one
Yeah.
person would pay to get in and get the stamp, and then come out and double
Uh-huh.
stamp, and we'd all just be super hammered. Like, yeah. Anyway,
Sure. Bro, you
I
started
digress.
drinking at 13, you say?
I
Sorry,
started
just
drinking
quickly on
like
it.
younger than that, like to be
Oh
completely
God.
honest.
Do you
But
know when I started
I'm from
drinking,
Ambilo,
bro?
dude. Like it's like no one in
Sure.
Ambilo would even bat an eyelid at me saying that. Like there's certain parts of the
Yeah.
world where certain things are a little bit more normal than others.
Sure. Do you know when I started drinking, bro?
When you're 18.
Nah, dog.
I
when, I,
don't know.
when I
I
was
thought you might be
25,
a
bro.
fuck off. For real.
No, I promise you, bro. October 2020, I ordered a Long Island iced tea,
Oh,
and I
that's
was
a
on the
hell of a drink
date.
to start
And
with.
she, right, right,
I mean, I used to love those when like there was two for the price of one on Joe Cool's on a Sunday. So
yeah,
I used to like start off with
yeah.
like two of those. So trust me, I know all about Long Island iced teas.
God. Bro, I think I've had about like six ever since then, and it wasn't until the sixth one where it fucked me up. Literally, I almost talked myself into a threesome,
Wait, did you have
and I
six in
was
a
in
row?
Melville.
I mean, you don't need to talk
Oh, not
yourself
not
into
in a
a
row.
threesome. Like, you don't need to talk yourself into a threesome. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's
No,
just
I thing
okay,
is,
cool. Like, is everyone here saying yes? Like, then you're fine. Like, there's
no,
no like,
listen. No, here's what happened. So I didn't have six in a row. I remember the day I started was I had two, and then maybe a month later I had one or whatever. Then I know I had my sixth one like maybe 2 months ago. And that one, I mean, that could have been spiked, if I really think about it, because that fucked me up, but
or
the kind
just
of
was
drunk
like a
I was, it was
proper
like the
Long Island.
super energetic.
I was sorry. I was gonna say that could have actually been the first like real Long Island you had. All the others were like half shots.
Oh, I see. I see. I see. Okay. No, that makes perfect sense, which is why I haven't gone back since, because that was crazy. But yeah, sorry. I was just, when you brought
Wait,
up
and then
that
what
you were
happened with?
drinking. Oh, so like I was at like at another restaurant in Melville with two of my friends, and then I noticed another girl I had met at another gig, and went to go say hi, and I was just so enthusiastic and happy. So I stood by their table, just talking to them, talking all sorts of like you know funny shit, I guess. And then they said, "Yo, dude, have a shot with us." I was like, "Oh, okay, let's do that." And they said, "Sit down." And I started talking, and then these sexual innuendos started coming out of my mouth, and they found it quite entertaining. And then I was just like, oh yep, yeah, she wants to fuck me, and that's what I said to her, and then she just laughed, and I was like, oh shit. And then next thing you know, me and her friend are holding a bottle of wine together, and like our hands are on top of each other's hands, and we're talking, and I was like, also your friend's hand is on mine, I think we should probably do this, the three of us. And then she said something along the lines of, you're not me and my friend. I was like, well, fine, maybe one day. I don't know, bro. It was such a mess.
Wow,
And
so you
then
you had two drinks in you, and you're like fucking Lothario here.
I don't know, but yeah, it's cool. It's one of my I almost called it a war story. But it was quite entertaining.
I like
But
how
yeah,
you
that's
start
me,
that
bro.
with
That's me
like
as
you
of the
had to
last.
like yeah, like you know talk your way into a threesome, whatever. But like there was never actually a threesome on the cards.
I mean, not until I brought it up, I guess. And it was just a matter of us kind of deciding where we're going after this, and
Oh,
then
oh, so it
I was
actually did get to
sober.
the point.
I mean, listen, like, yeah, but it was like, okay, cool, guys, let me go back to my friends because I came with them, and I'll chat to you guys later. Oh, we'll be here. I was like, cool. So we went to go eat somewhere, and then I came back, and the girls were gone. And then I got home, and I got a DM saying, yo, we're at this place. So we're waiting on you. I was like, oh, shit. And at this point, I changed my mind.
So have you
Yeah,
written a song
so
about
that
this? Is ASMR about this?
no, not yet. Ah, no, but also ASMR is possibly the same energy that was
I mean, it
possibly
sounds
like in
like it.
that moment. Yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely it's like I mean, the whole idea of ASMR is like I use it as a metaphor for just like intimacy. Like, I mean, ASMR is pretty intimate in a sense where when you hear those chewing noises, those whispers, you can only really hear them like that in real life if somebody is right up in your face, which is an intimate moment if you think about it. Like you can't just let anyone be up in your face like that. So it's uncomfortable and off-putting for a lot of people for obvious reasons. So I just kind of made a metaphor as like for some of the things that come out my mouth sometimes. It's like, okay, cool, listen, can I put my
It's
microphone by your
uncomfortable.
mouth? Shit like that. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But so it's like ASMRing. I'm externalizing these thoughts in my mind that would have obviously just stayed in my mind otherwise if they didn't go through my mouth. So yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's not a confession per se, but it's like, you know what I'm thinking? This is exactly what I'm thinking. You being barefoot is just, I know that's about to sound weird, but just all sorts of oversharing shits.
So how do your collaborators feel feel about the themes of this song?
Well, listen, so these were like new collaborators for me. It was actually a new collaborative experience for me
Yeah,
completely
was this
because
inspired by sorry, was this inspired by your experiences overseas? Because I know, like, when you were in America, like, you joined up with that big band and, like, started collaborating a bit
oh
more there.
yeah,
So did
yeah.
that, like, kind of seed, like, the ideas for this, or
As in like for the song or just for the approach to collaboration?
well, both, you know? Like, being more open to collaboration and then leading to this.
Yeah, I mean, I think even from the last conversation we had, I think I spoke about that trip to the US and how
Yeah,
uncomfortable I was, as in, but like outside of my comfort zone, not so much like, I hate it here, but it was like, fuck, like how long do I have to pretend like this shit is for me or that I deserve to be here? So there was a lot of discomfort, but like you hit the nail right on the head. Like that US trip really, 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 really opened me up to collaboration outside of just studio stuff. Just being a person who is aware of the value of a community. But with this particular collaboration, I think it came to me very naturally, the ability to just facilitate a collaborative environment, to have people I've never met before come through to sessions and whatnot. So definitely that US trip, bro. Shout out to One Beat, man. I think I just needed to process so much that I had just gone through that side, and now the microwave went cling or
Mhm.
whatever the fuck the sound makes, but like it's done cooking, and I can feel that I'm able to be in these collaborative situations. So that's definitely true, bro. And then as far as the song itself, funny enough, it was like the my verse anyway. Like it was inspired by an interaction I had in Berlin in 2019. I met a friend there, and then we hung out. It was platonic. We went to her place and we just smoked a joint. We spoke by her balcony. She was barefoot, and I was chilled. She was comfortable. That was dope. I was comfortable, and then we went and hung out with everybody else. And then she's the same person who asked me for this verse. And then as soon as she asked me for this verse, I my mind just went back to that hangout that we had, and I just kind of turned it into something that it could have been had we been intentional about uh, our desires, if any. Because at the time I was in my
Sure.
relationship and she was also in a relationship, so I just kind of hey, let me go and revisit that story. And you know
I'm kind of living that story in a weird way.
who you.
Yeah, like, Paige is kind of the girl that, like, I met when I was dating someone else, and then,
Oh
yeah,
shit,
that person
okay.
broke up with me, and then Paige and I got together. So, in a weird way, I'm
Uh-huh,
living
uh-huh,
in your
uh-huh.
alternate reality.
Except you actually got to see it through, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm living in the alternate
Yeah.
reality. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, as soon as the verse came in, bro. I listen. I feel like I'm very much excusing the fact that these thoughts had to have come from somewhere. Because like, not to say that when we were in our moment, I was kind of thinking about all these things, but when I
Yeah, I know what
think
you
back
mean.
outside of yeah. I mean, and it's mainly because when I was in my relationship, for 6 years, nothing else mattered. No other woman mattered. like no thoughts could get through the strainer that was my relationship. Like everything that tried to go through it get like lasered on some. Nope, you are not a thought that is going to contribute anything positive to this relationship. So fuck off.
Yeah, but
So,
once
but
the
now once
relationship's
I'm out of
over,
this, yeah,
yeah, you then think back. Like that's exactly what happened for me
yeah,
at least, was like, I was in this
okay,
relationship,
cool,
and like, yeah, like when Paige and I
yeah,
met, like we were just hanging out. We were totally cool. Like there was no
mm,
like there was no flirting or anything like that, and that's what made it cool, was just like
yeah,
we were just hanging out. And then yeah, I got dumped and I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh yeah, that was this really rad like person who I was hanging out with. Wonder what they're doing,
yeah,
and then hit her up.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, since then everything's gone the way it's gone. But like, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's one of those things where it's like it wasn't a thing of when we met that I was like, oh yeah, I need to store this in the memory bank, or like, oh, I'm gonna try and like hook up here or anything. It like
Shocked.
was just like, this is a rad person, like we were having a cool time together. And
Yeah.
then yeah, when
Yeah.
you're out of a relationship, you can think back on like those times you had with other people and go, huh, I wonder
Yeah.
what's there, like, that we could explore
Shocked.
now.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I'm glad like you've kind of made sense of it, bro, because I was trying to figure out if am I in denial? Do I am I convinced about what I'm saying? But yeah, bro, I mean, just after, that unfortunate end of that relationship I was in, there's a lot of shit that I looked back on and I realized, fuck, I am, you know, okay, let me kind of think about how to best phrase this. I was gonna say I don't know,
You've
like
already been speaking about like
I mean, we're all.
wanting threesomes, and now you're trying to like find your words.
I mean, listen, it does touch back to that, but it's like as a being, there's a lot of sexual energy that kind of, um, yeah, that I kind of acknowledged past that relationship, because a lot like we obviously experienced lockdown. I'd visit her a lot in Durban and whatnot. Now there's no opportunity. Not to say I'm going down to bust a nut, but that is my person, and we would get intimate and whatnot. But now, like, I'm literally in Joburg, stuck, and that obviously contributed to the eventual end of the relationship. I think like the distance took its toll. But then after that, bro, not to say like my nutsack was full, but the nutsack in my heart
Not
was
to say
full,
that, but that's what you're
and
saying.
but listen, also apply it as the metaphor, bro. Like, not to say that, not because I mean, listen, I haven't added. I guess I've only added like two, counts to my body count since then, and that's very small. Like considering it's been almost a
I
year
mean, probably
since
within the average, but sure.
yeah. I mean, listen, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been well. I'm not so much a late. I mean, I was a late bloomer, but I'm also very specific, bro. Like, I prefer my sex in a relationship as opposed to casual. But also, I don't want to be in a relationship right now because I feel like I love so hard, bro. Oh my gosh, where are we fucking going with this conversation?
You're leading here, so you tell me.
Stop me. um, yeah, I think. What is the question?
I don't even know. Like, yeah, we've gone so far beyond the question at this point.
Yeah,
Like, it's not just a
yeah,
conversation. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. I
so
mean, this
the,
is
the
us.
di- yeah, the distance got in the way, and yeah, you've now had
Yeah.
to explore other aspects of love, or love with other people, or not even just love, just
Uh huh.
sex and those sorts of things. And so is that what Spajanga chapter 3 is about?
I mean, it doesn't. I guess this song is the is that part of chapter three. On its own.
Okay.
There's a lot that chapter three explores. I think out of the three chapters, chapter one, chapter two, I think it might be the most cohesive conceptually, or rather, because I know chapter two was dope because it starts off with me, having moved to Joburg, figuring out what am I, a rapper, a graphic designer, because I've moved to Joburg to kind of get closer to record labels so I can offer creative and art direction to their artists. And then suddenly I get distracted by the fact that people are recognizing me as the artist. And then I decide to jump ship and just do the music thing. And now I'm in Joburg. And then Joburg has Park Station. I get mugged at gunpoint at Park
Yeah.
Station. 2 months later, I need to be in Berlin, ride a bike in Berlin, feel better, come back. Oh shit, I'm in a long distance relationship. And am I okay? I mean, I'm doing this for, I don't want to say us as if like, ah, fuck, I was. Every time I did some dope shit like buy groceries or buy a couch, I was like, can't wait till we're doing this together. So there's a lot, like it
Sure.
was cohesive in the sense where that was the train of thought and the feelings at the time. But
Building
with
towards the
chapter
future.
three, yeah, exactly. That was like what the idea when you get to like the last track, which is okay, fine on chapter two. But then when you come to chapter three, there's a lot of growing up that's happened, bro. I mean, I think this episode might be the one that I actually listened back to because I kind of like how I sound right now for some reason. Whereas the ones we did, I don't know, I'll listen back to them, but yo, bro, I used to cringe so hard at just like anything that I was recorded doing if it wasn't something I did like 7 takes for. But this one, I feel like, so this, me wanting to listen back to just this conversation so far at 29 minutes, like speaks to the energy that I'm approaching chapter three with, or that I've approached chapter three with, the Luandile of chapter three, the ByLwansta of chapter three, the normal of chapter three. There's a lot of, I'm very much, you know, yeah, I don't know. My head is in like a more less shaky place than it was in the previous chapter specifically.
Well, do you think the
So
pandemic
yeah.
has
So
hardened
as
you
far
and like
yeah,
moving to Joburg? Sorry, yeah. Do you think partially the pandemic and then partially moving to Joburg has hardened you a bit?
I think it's mainly moving to Joburg. Like I
Okay,
think the pandemic itself. Maybe I'm in a privileged place, but it feels very much in the periphery of everything that's happening in my life. I was working from home before everybody was working from home. So I was very much not that affected. It just sucked that it happened a week or a couple weeks right after we dropped chapter two, like the first
okay.
lockdown. So those
Oh
plans were
yeah.
kind of thwarted. But yeah, but I mean, I was working from home, bro, and I was so blessed enough to kind of get work during this time. I worked on a couple, COVID-19 campaigns in social media, like PR campaigns where we're turning some radio content into posters that people can use to share with their family groups who are, sharing spam or like false stuff. It's just to let them know that, yo, this and that. So that was cool, bro. For like that year, 2020, I was just working, bro. I was working, doing my time. And yeah, I was working from home. So as far as the pandemic itself, there was very little interference or like, influence on anything else,
Well, I mean,
unless I
surely not
just
being
need to
able
look at the
to
bigger
perform
picture.
live like had its effect on you, didn't it? Because you were someone who liked to get out there and perform.
Yeah. I mean, I really did like, I guess I just wasn't doing it as often as I would have liked to a point where like if I'm performing like once a month, because I was still pretty new to Joburg as well. So I was still
Sure.
figuring out who's who, what's what. So I hadn't really gotten to a place where I was performing frequently and my main stream of income was compromised. So yeah, I mean that sucked, but also I had a dope performance just before lockdown happened. It was at a festival called Umi. This is after chapter two drop. So yeah, I mean, performances were dope. I missed them. Yeah, yeah, but
But you
yeah,
managed to keep going.
I don't know, bro. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I managed to keep going. Design held me down. I managed to get a car out of it.
Oh
Managed
snap!
to get like a second laptop. Yeah, bro. I got me a beautiful, cute Corsa Light. I've always wanted a Corsa Light since I moved to Durban.
You really have.
And I
Like you
managed to
you
get it.
mentioned that to me years ago. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. No, bro. Like I loved that vehicle, and now it's mine. So that's dope. So that's just like I did my time, bro. And yeah, the lockdown played a role in that. But I don't think it was too negative. But
But
sorry, there was the
Joburg?
first part of the question. You are. Oh yes, Joburg. Yo, bro, Joburg has really fucked me up, man. I will not lie to you. And I don't mean like in the, you know, like I don't want to talk shit about Joburg because honestly, bro, I love it here. I really love it here in Joburg right now. I don't see myself anywhere else longer than I am in Joburg. If it's not in New York, which is hectic. So I'm like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Some of the stories I was hearing about New York from the musicians that side, it's cutthroat, it's brutal.
And it's not like the New York that like about like from the 80s and like you know like I don't know, maybe
Yeah,
Joburg is actually more like a New York in the 80s than like New York is now. Like there's probably more
yeah,
opportunity like in Joburg
yeah.
in a lot of ways actually.
Yeah, I mean, bro, listen, just like being present in certain spaces, opportunity is just lurking there, and being a social person and a person who enjoys having a good time is all like has really come through for me a lot. Just being able to be in these spaces and being keen to be in these spaces, knowing that like a big part of the work that I'm doing with, as a musician requires me to be present, to come to mind, hence the rollouts and all these things. All these things are efforts to make sure, I come to mind when like the decisions that are not in my control are being made, And I don't want to ever feel like I have to depend on other people, but I know what I'm doing when I do my rollouts. It's PR for me. It's, I don't know, you've watched that movie, bro, Focus with Will Smith and Margot Robbie.
I don't know if I've seen it actually.
So they're scam artists and like they pickpocket, they scam and whatnot. But you must go check it out after this
Sounds
chat
up my
because there's
alley.
an analogy. Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen,
You can spoil it
it's
for
all
me and
right,
then spoiler
but
alert for everyone else. But yeah, tell us what happens.
short. It's just one scene that I want to like refer to. So these guys are so smart, bro, in their scamming that it's very mental how they approach it. So there's a scene where they're at a football game and they're in one of the VIP stands and there's a tycoon guy who loves to gamble, right? And now Will Smith and Margot Robbie are sitting there and Margot Robbie thinks they're just going to watch a football match and Will Smith obviously knows what he's here for. So they're sitting not too far from this guy and
I
then they
actually think I
start
have seen this.
betting like, hey, what's that?
I actually think I have seen this.
Oh yeah, yeah, is it ringing a bell?
Yeah. But sorry, carry
Okay,
on.
okay, cool. So now what happens is they start betting between the two of them, like, yo, that guy's gonna score if or whatever the bet is, but like, he gets it right, she gets it wrong, she gets it right, he gets it wrong, and whatnot. And then from a distance, you can see this guy is kind of like, hey, this looks like fun. And then he kind of like throws himself like, hey, can I play? And then Will Smith is like, okay, sure, acting like he's not in on this, but yeah. Then he played. Now suddenly Will Smith starts playing with this guy, bro, and he wins a couple of times, and this guy wins, and then the stakes keep getting higher, bro, and higher as this scene progresses, and you almost start cringing, like fuck, like this guy keeps losing, and then Margot Robbie is like panicking on some dude. Can you
Like,
just
no,
stop betting
don't
now? Can we
stop.
fuck
Yeah, yeah,
off?
yeah.
Can we go? You know what I mean? Exactly. And then he's like, he's walking to the door, and she's like, fuck. And he suddenly stands, and she's like, no. And then he turns around,
One more.
five. I'm just gonna pull out a number, like 1 million or something. Then this guy's like, you are crazy, but let's do it, and whatnot, double or nothing, or blah 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 blah. And then now, because now this is where the stakes are super high. So he says, you know what? You choose a footballer on this field, choose the number on their back, and then Margot Robbie is gonna guess. And then she's like, what the fuck? Don't drag me into this. Are you fucking crazy? How am I gonna read this guy's fucking mind?
Meanwhile, they've been
And
seeding it
then
the whole time.
like, bro, listen. So then like he says, just trust me. And then like the guy looks and he chooses his number, and then he says he tells her to go guess and whatnot. So she looks around the field. And then she sees a guy on her team, on their team. Big guy, he's got the number 55 on his back. Then she's like, oh my God. And she's like, okay, I know the number. And then then she says 55, and he's like, he smiles at her as if she got it wrong. He's like, how did you fucking know? Blah, 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 blah. So she got it right. And how they did that the whole fucking day or the whole fucking week leading up to that betting thing or whatever was happening in town, they kept putting this number 55, in this guy's periphery everywhere, bro, from like chandeliers to the songs playing, constantly saying 55, 55. All so they were doing like such subconscious branding around this guy to a point where as soon as he saw the number 55 on that back, it was familiar to him and his mind gravitated. It's like, fuck, there's my number. He didn't know why he was gravitating to it, but he did. So
So
another
this is why
friend of
you
mine who I
chose
met here in
Durex
Joburg, and
as your inspiration for your
no,
artwork.
actually, so that's part of it. It's funny that you say that. I mean, it's funny, but it's also funny that you bring it up because it's part of like the thinking behind why I did that. But a friend of mine, Tebo Musane, who is a good friend of mine this side, he was speaking to me. He told me about that scene, and I loved that scene. But he told me about it, and he said, like, think about it, how they got him to do that. So it speaks to branding, bro. So as far as my rollouts. Fuck, I actually forgot the question, but I'm just gonna wrap up this point and then I guess we'll try to find our way back there. What happens is, as far as branding goes, bro, like I'm marketing this ASMR single as not a song. I haven't said a word about, yo guys, new song coming out on Friday. Nothing. That's not in any of my copy, in my text, in my anything. I've decided the campaign is called Date Night. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because every Friday we're being shoved with songs. Every fucking Friday, check out this song, check out this song. No. Now I was like, you know what? Let me make the song be the soundtrack to this fictional date night, which is also the narrative from the music video as well. So it's like, don't be late because my character's late in the music video. So I've decided, you know what? Let me create an occasion that people can come around to, like something that's normal, that's in our lives already. Like the number 55 is a number that's in the number system or whatever the fuck it's called, like, and so is like date nights, people call it whatever they want, but I said date night because I'm on a date in the video and whatnot. So let's create something subconscious. Let's brand subconscious. Let's market this song subconsciously, without, obviously, I'm not trying to manipulate people. I'm just trying to make it something that's consumable in a time where there's music being uploaded every fucking day. Like 50,000 songs are being uploaded every day on Spotify and Apple Music. And how do you stand out? You've got to figure out other ways to kind of, get people into, because now, bro, we're not just competing with other songs, other cover arts. We're competing with, baby pictures. We're competing with otter and puppy memes, all sorts of shit, bro. We're competing
Yeah,
with
I know.
everything. So how do we stand out? You know what I mean? So we just have to create like date night, and let people feel like, oh, okay, cool. This is nice for a change. Something that's very cryptic, but what is it? Oh shit. There's a song attached, but he hasn't said anything about the song. I wonder what the fuck is up, So that number 55 is the brown that appeared on my social media for a good week. And I said nothing about what it's about. Immediately people now have a color in their mind they can associate. You know what I mean? And the way I kept introducing this stuff, without kind of telling them, yo, 55, it was just like, hey guys, there's that. And, the people who are onto me are like, oh shit, something's about to happen. ByLwansta is about to start a rollout and stuff like that. So that's how I like to approach things like those, bro. Like I personally don't like being sold things. Like, hey guys, check this out. It's so dope, I like to kind of, be immersed in things, hence I still buy CDs because I want to hold them, I want to read them, I want to smell them. If I want, I can taste them. You know what I'm saying? So by creating like an immersive experience, like a date night that my music is just a soundtrack for, granted people are going to play the song, but, it's still a soundtrack. Hopefully some people are going to take it and play it on their own date nights and stuff like that. But, that's that number 55 analogy was like, you know what? This is how I want to approach shit, like granted it can be used for evil, but I just want to use it to make my shit a little bit more, consumable in a time where we're having all sorts of shit thrown in our mouths and where it's like, hey, chill it. Ah, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of just
You know what
talking
I'm
about
saying?
marketing as a whole there. Like, it's a thing that we
Yeah.
we all struggle
Yeah.
with because, like, even me, like, it's one of the things I hate the most about doing this whole thing. Like, I know you enjoy thinking about it, but I fucking hate it. Like, I love doing the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I love
No, of
this.
course.
Like, I love getting to
Yeah.
talk to you. I love like all of that. And same with like comedy. Like, I love
Mm.
getting on stage and doing comedy. But then having to fucking get people through the door is like the thing that I hate the most. And it's the same thing with this podcast. It's
Mm.
like, I know this is dope. You know this is dope. The people listening know it's dope. Like, it's just like, how the fuck do I get other people to know it's dope? And like, that's something you've been
Mm.
really good
Mm.
at. But do you not like sometimes like worry that like, you know, you're putting all this effort in, you've got such great ideas to actually do this and to like get further, you know, to push against the algorithms essentially. But do you not worry that like,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
like at the same time, it's fucking almost impossible to like get beyond the algorithms, especially without like paid advertising? And if so, are you going to use paid advertising for your campaigns?
Um, am I worried about? Sorry, can you repeat that again, bro?
Well,
I was
basically
just
just, you
thinking
know,
while you were
like,
saying it.
yeah, so like, you know, I always like if I post something on Facebook, if I don't boost the post, like it doesn't fucking go anywhere.
Mm.
Like that's just like on Twitter
Yeah.
stuff gets some retweets, you know, like the first time I post it, and like,
Mm.
you know, Instagram gets some decent likes on that, but like Facebook pages, you don't get fuck all.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's a mission to like get people to know about your stuff, like without paid advertising. So it's like, so that's the thing. Like, how much, like, when you're considering all these things, are you like thinking like, well, fuck,
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm gonna do all of this, and the algorithm's gonna bury me, and you know, then do you think like, well, how
Mm.
much do I have to spend to actually make this work?
Yeah. I mean, listen, bro. Like, I I I rarely consider the algorithm, if I'm to be
Okay,
honest. Like, not to say that my shit is always popping off, but I rarely consider. I mean, the only thing I'll look at is, okay, cool. What time does Instagram say my people are active? And I only look at that like once, maybe every couple of months. But yeah,
okay,
I mean, listen, bro. I've been studying people a lot. Like, as of recent. And when I say studying people, I'm just like studying like what kind of content people like in South Africa. That stuff that pops off organically. Those people who just get careers out of just being funny. Because I mean, bro, people in South Africa love two things: to dance and to laugh. And that's the
fair.
content they consume the most. You know what I mean? And not to say that like suddenly gonna start figuring out a dance. I mean, I think I'm a funny guy, you know. So I feel like I can definitely finesse that. But other than that, what was I saying? Yeah, no, I really consider the algorithm like as anything that influences anything other than the time that I post, maybe, but rarely, because sometimes I'll just decide, you know what, because it's date night, it's night. So I'm gonna post this thing in the evening. If my people are active at fucking 12, it doesn't make sense for my narrative. So I'm gonna prioritize the objective that I have creatively first. And then if my people are active mainly 6 to 8, then fuck it, perfect. But if it isn't, I don't care. So what I do, I've been studying people, just looking at people's consumption habits on social media, particularly my people. And whenever I see someone who has their 15 minutes of fame, you know, I'm like, okay, cool. What gave them this? Oh, they were funny. Oh, and it was obviously something they can't maintain, unfortunately. So it's like, okay, cool. Now, just having that kind of attention to detail when I look at like, you know, what social media is about, particularly in South Africa, it kind of allows me to kind of figure out how best to position, like, you know, the kind of content I put out. Like the first bit of content that I put out for ASMR came a day before it was supposed to start. You know, in fact, that content didn't even exist until Adele decided she's going to hijack my
Yeah,
release date,
I
right?
saw that. Yeah,
And I was in
YouTube.
bed, bro. I was sleeping. Yeah, I was sleeping like for like 2 hours. Like it was midday. I just took a nap, and then I woke up and I see Adele. Oh my god, what the fuck are you doing? You know, and then I decided, okay, there was content I was gonna roll out tomorrow. I was like, fuck this, she's forcing my hand. And I was like, you know what? Let me actually make some content that speaks to what just happened. You know, and then I made that whole Dear Adele, I chose the 15th of October first, you know. And people got a huge fucking, you know, what's the word? They really they found that really funny. You know, they liked
Oh,
it.
they got a
And,
kick out of
you
it.
know, they were like, oh shit, okay, Yeah, they got a kick. Yes, that's the word. They got a kick out of it, bro. And like that wasn't content I had intended to put out. It was supposed to be that video of me looking at the camera, all fucking gloomy or whatever. But then now I captioned it, put it at the top, and people read it. I was like, oh fuck, okay, yeah. And every time, I've gone out a couple of times since then, and when I'm attending things, a couple people will come to me, like maybe there's three over the last couple of days, like, yo, bro, we're gonna support Adele as well, but we've got you. And I'm thinking, what? Oh, then it clicks. It's like, oh shit, you saw my shit, So things like those, bro. Like, granted, having the algorithm on my side obviously guarantees a wider reach, but whether people engage with it, like the engagement I've been getting, bro, like with just like that particular post, was very dope, from people who otherwise don't really engage with my shit, or they don't follow me. And then, you know what? I decided, let me put some money behind that thing. I put a budget behind that one on Instagram, just so, because like it just, people will just swipe on their story and suddenly they see this guy in brown background and this caption to Adele, and suddenly, oh shit, what's this? And then they come back to the profile and they engage. So yeah, man. I mean, I do tap into the paid promo stuff. It's mainly for reach, but it has to be stuff that I feel like is just needs to be seen for people to be into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So
get
yeah, I
you.
mean, fuck the algorithm, bro. Like, fuck bots, fuck all those things. At the end of the day, some of us are humans. I won't speak to everyone because some people are fucking robots, bro, on these Twitter streets, man. Like emotionless and shit. But yeah, man. So yeah, that's really the approach, bro. Just trying to find the human element to all this shit and trying to capitalize on that a bit.
Well, because that's the thing. Like, I try and think about these days, like, how much, does genuine art like really resonate and all of that, and like it does, but like there's so many people creating so much dope shit that like no one ever hears, no one ever sees because YouTube
Yeah.
wasn't kind to them. Like, they didn't put a good
Mm-hmm.
thumbnail. Like, they didn't title the video the
Mm.
right way. Like, and they're busy vlogging to like 10 people. Meanwhile, they're creating better shit than like, anyone else. And so that's just something that like plays on my mind sometimes. But then at the same time, it
Mm.
does like, I think of Macho Man Randy Savage with it was the Ultimate Warrior. No, it was Randy Savage with the cream always rises to the crop. Fuck, the cream always rises to the crop. No, the cream always rises to the top. Like, and
Shot.
yeah, so like I just wonder like how much of that stuff plagues on your mind when you're creating things. Like how much do you like worry about like being able to actually get to your audience? Because yeah, like you say, you pay a little bit for reach, but even when I do that and I try to target things well and like things grow a little bit, I wonder like how many of those people are actually ever going to still see the post then afterwards, like they like the page and then
Mm,
still
mm,
get
mm,
buried and stuff. So like I don't know, I just feel like as creatives we're always like fighting these days like to get reach, and like I just wonder how much of that is a
mm.
concern in your mind.
I mean, listen, bro. Like, there's so many people in the world, and like that's a lot of people. I think it's what, in the billions or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that I'd still like to hear my music, and I
But
feel
how do
like,
you get them
bro,
to hear it?
you're. So here's my chat, bro. Like I mean, I know your reason is that you just don't like it, but like for anyone in my industry, bro, like I personally don't think like you have any excuse to not make an effort when it comes to trying to get the word out there. I mean, listen, I'm also speaking from my own perspective, and I don't know what other people's reasons for announcing a song on Thursday that they're putting out on Friday. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Who's gonna hear
Okay.
that? And stuff like that. Like, so, like the things that I do, bro. Like, I don't do it to make my shit look pretty. I don't do it to stunt on anybody else and, oh, look at my skill set, look how much smarter and cooler I am. I do it because I need to. And when I say I need to, I am aware of where I stand as an independent artist, as a label owner, who doesn't
Yeah.
have the funding and the infrastructure and the time in the game that a Universal, a Sony, a Warner have, I have to make as much noise as I can. For me, the more extra the rollout, the better. You know what I mean? Like I slapped on a fucking Durex logo so people immediately know what to expect.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, bro, this shit that I'm doing, it's necessary for me. I feel like I have to do it because if I feel like I'm making the best music I can make right now, there's no way the way I roll it out, the way I put it out in the world is gonna not reflect that. That is gonna upset me, bro. When people's chat, I mean, there's a chip that I've had on my shoulder as of the past 2 years was ByLwansta is slept on. Because that thing is something that I always make my fault or my responsibility that, okay, cool, I'm slept on because I'm clearly not doing enough, because these days it isn't enough to just be dope, bro. And I
Yeah.
use this word very lightly, it's a dumb one, but the word clout, granted we're aware of how it's used, but the clout that I'm going to refer to is the stuff that is like when someone is so dope and then their reputation translates accordingly. It's like, okay, cool, this person's dope, and we all know that they're dope, so they're not slept on. You know what I mean? And that is always as a result of the effort that comes outside of the studio. Like for me, bro, obviously we've got two facets of our minds, bro. One of my brains is ByLwansta, the other one is normal. So I'm able to kind of switch between the two very easily. I think I might diagnose myself with that split personality shit. I promise you, bro. And I say this in a jokey tone, but I think one day we'll talk off the record and I'll tell you exactly what the fuck is going on. But like just being able to switch off the artist side that kind of maybe wants to just belong in the studio, wants to just create, and then activating the side of me that sees that artist side and says, you deserve so much more than what you're giving. So we're gonna make this shit happen. So when we leave that studio and we put on our businessman outfit and go to the music industry, we're gonna sell this motherfucker the best way we know how to. And the best way we know how to is to do extensive rollouts because that's gonna be on everybody's timeline. So basically what I'm saying, bro, is like all these extra efforts that I make them because if I don't, I'm always going to be slept on. And all this dope music that I've made, that I'm making, I don't ever want people to say, yo, we didn't know he was this dope because I had to switch up my sound completely and do Amapiano 5 years later. And like, guys, did you know ByLwansta used to be such a dope rapper? Because I didn't push myself when I was a dope rapper. I thought it was enough just to be dope. So for now, like, you know what? If this is the best fucking music I'm making right now, this is the stuff that's going to get the best fucking push that it can get right now. Like I've invested so much money, bro, into this coming release, bro. I've shot a music video. I had 3 days of shooting, 3 days of hiring a studio because I didn't plan properly. I didn't know that we needed to split the narrative and the performances over 2 days. All sorts of shit, bro. And I've spent money. I've hosted people. I've done so much, bro. And I didn't flinch, bro. It doesn't feel like I spent a cent. I can be broke right now, bro. But if I've spent it on my shit, I don't feel like I've spent a cent because I know why I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, listen, like I really feel like musicians, artists specific, like musicians specifically, because, that's me and that's the only place I can speak from right now. I feel like if you're making the greatest music that you feel like you're making right now, that push needs to translate. Even these major label budgets, bro, you can see when something's been bought. You can see when something's on your timeline because it's been paid for,
Oh
like
yes.
the artist development isn't there anymore. All sorts of shit, bro. And you can't buy these connections, bro. And like just to kind of toot my own horn a bit, me like getting my hands dirty in front of everyone, bro. That kind of makes people feel like, okay, cool, this looks interesting. Let's see if he actually moves this fucking steel wall. And then as soon as it moves for like a fucking centimeter, it's like, oh my God, he's doing it. And suddenly people are like, oh shit, guys, come see this guy is doing his own thing. And now this steel wall has orange on it and, blah, 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 all that shit, bro. So that's just how I feel, bro. Like these rollouts are necessary. And, granted, I don't want to say I don't care about any other artist, but, it's working for me. And if you're going to be on my timeline watching my moves, great, watch the moves. if you want to ask questions, if you want to maybe employ Normal to develop something for you, shop. But I'm not going to be preaching and telling people, oh, this is crap. Or, if I think it's crap, I won't comment on it. I won't be like that rollout snob that I can be when I see people, hey, bro, sometimes I just see some shit on the timeline. Some people are getting applauded for such, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I'll keep quiet. But then when maybe there's an article written that says, hey, the art of the rollout, and all they talk about is, documentaries, I'm thinking, hey guys, so that headline is misleading. I'll articulate that. But obviously, uh, in hopes of just, letting them know that, yo, guys, just trying to, I don't want to say I'm a gatekeeper, but, if people are doing, bro, there's some homie who tweeted, listen, I mean, I don't know, everybody has their own thoughts on the whole Drake release. It's very subjective,
Yeah,
like
I just
music or
don't give a
whatever. But as
fuck.
far as the rollout, yeah, you know what I mean. But
Like I really like at
a
this
lot of
point in my
people like
life,
had thoughts
like
about it.
there's nobody I care about less than Drake, probably. Like
Then Drake.
he is so
No,
far down the fucking list of artists I care about at this point.
when you said he's so far down, it sounded like you're about to say so far gone, which is obviously his project.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so you
yeah. I
are a
know. I
fan.
know.
I'm
Like
kidding.
he started out
Um,
alright, you know? Like
yeah,
had
yeah,
some
yeah.
bangers.
But yeah, I
Probably
mean,
still has some bangers, but I'm never gonna listen to them. But anyway, as you were saying.
no, I feel you, bro. Yeah, yeah. I just feel like, someone came out the other day and saying, oh, Drake has a subpar rollout. And, and what that was just trash, for that person to say, because it was just like someone just using their Twitter fingers, because a rollout is the more functional part, the more objective part of a release, where it has actual return of investments and stats you have to look at afterwards. So if Drake now has 10 million more monthly listeners, then that should work. As corny as it was with those pregnant emojis, that's the cover itself is a subjective chat. I personally don't like it, but that rollout was successful because it did something functional. So whenever there's
Yeah,
people
but like I
talking
mean,
shit,
at the
bro,
same time, like
and
that was also just like so blatant and so like I don't
yeah,
know, like that's like my issue with a lot of like modern day pop art, and it is just pop art, and like it's all
yeah.
wrestling, like it's all just like gimmick and
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
show, and it's nothing's fucking real. Everyone's just playing a character. It's
Mm,
always this new like
mm,
gimmick, and like there's lots that you can do with that, but it feels pretty shallow, like at the moment. Like Kanye's rollout,
mm.
especially to me, like was one of the things that like literally made me quit Twitter. like like
Oh
living through
shit!
that
Oh
was
shit!
something that literally made me go, you know what, I'm fucking out. Like I don't want to like
Mm,
be subject to all these opinions, like, and just know about all this
yeah,
stuff. And like because I just felt like it was
yeah,
just so blatantly obvious and shallow, and like that's the same thing I felt with like Drake's like cover. So that's just me like
yeah.
speaking completely openly and honestly, but that's like where I'm at when it comes to a lot of modern art. Like I feel like things can be so much deeper, but they're just not. It's all just like
Mm.
spectacle. Whereas, like, yeah, I do think you like consider things maybe even, a bit deeper than Drake, even though you're hopping up the rollout.
Short. No, no, without a doubt, bro. I personally think that all these motherfuckers need to bring their briefs to me. You know, but other than that, man, I mean, I think I don't know, bro. Like if you, I mean, I doubt you'd tell me, but I don't think I'd ever compromise my artistry. But like I feel like even the the Durex, thing that I'm doing, it could be a bit. I don't know. You use some words like I don't know. Like I do feel like it's very much something I've thought about, but I think for someone who isn't aware of the inner thinking, they could obviously think, oh, pop art or whatever. Because I mean, if you think about it, like the same way Andy Warhol was doing a lot of pop art shit back in the day, repurposing brands and
Yeah.
showing people how consumable we are or whatever. You could even argue that this whole Durex kind of suggested brand thing
I mean,
is
it is
leaning
like
towards that.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, obviously, it's an extension of that. Like, but I'm not like necessarily like
Mm.
criticizing you in the same way that I'm criticizing like Drake and Kanye. But I guess there might be some similarities there within that. You know, you are just
Mm, mm.
referencing, pop culture. But I don't know. Like to
Yeah.
me, like as I was saying, like their rollouts just kind of felt a bit shallow, and like I guess yours feels a slightly more
Uh-huh,
sincere.
uh-huh.
Yeah, I guess I don't need to say slightly more sincere. Like it does seem more sincere. But like you do dig your pop art. Like you do dig that like side of like life. Like you do dig branding and you understand it. And like, yeah, it's a part of
Yeah,
life that
yeah.
like, I conflict with like
Mm.
quite a lot. Like it's that's personal to me. Like in that like I hate the
Yeah.
way like, our brains are constantly hijacked by so many different things. And that like we're
Mm,
literally
mm,
living
mm,
in the
mm.
fucking matrix, so those are my personal
Yeah.
beefs with things. But like I know like you do like have a absolute fascination with that side of life.
Mm, mm. No, no, without a doubt, bro. And I think when we speak back to just like being sincere, man, like there's this line by Joey Badass where he says, "If it don't hit my spirit, I don't go near it." And that's
Amen.
something I think about a lot. You know, like everything I do, bro. Like do you know what? Sometimes, bro, I feel like I'm the most sensitive person in Johannesburg right now. Like I always just feel like that when like, I it's not, I realize it's something I'll never grow out of, bro. But like I'm very much mostly emotion, sensitive emotion, and then a bit of water, and then a bit of blood, and then some flesh and bones. But it's mostly just being sensitive, and I think everything that comes out of the normal camp of ByLwansta is something that's been, you know, cultivated from that sensitivity. So I think even from the beginning of just this conversation, bro, I was like talking to you about all these sexual ideas that I've had, and now it's become a whole release. And this is a realization I came to like only last year in August or September, but now it kind of found its way to be like a song that I'm actually putting out. And you know I just went with what I was feeling. I just go with whatever the fuck I'm feeling. I'm actually looking at this condom box that I made right now as I speak to you. And it's like,
Oh, you
I'm
actually
fucking
made
proud
a
of the
condom
condom
box.
box. I made it, bro. I literally bought like Durex and I just kind of stripped it apart, got the dimensions, measured it with my ruler, put it on Illustrator, and then I printed it, cut it out, folded it. Felt like I was in college again, but it
Yeah,
was
that's
nice because
that's that's
we
slightly
rarely get to
different.
do.
Yeah, like so that's pretty different to like Drake hiring someone and asking him what his ideas for an
Yeah,
album like art is. Like, like
yeah,
hiring
yeah, yeah,
five
yeah, yeah.
people and getting them to all pitch their ideas and going, cool, that's the one I like. We're using that as the cover art, like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, there
No,
is
I
a
feel you,
bit more
bro.
like authenticity. Like it's you're literally making shit
Mm.
by fucking hand, and it's stuff you're thinking about deeply and considering and like packaging your art. And like I guess Kanye probably does put some
Yeah.
thought into it. But I just think he's going through some things that like
Yeah,
I
he
can't
used to
relate to.
anyway.
like like
Yeah.
that's the only way I can really put that, to be kind. Um but yeah, like as I'm saying, like that's what I dig about your stuff is like it doesn't feel forced in the same way. It feels more like,
Got
yeah,
you.
like a whole, like every, like, because I also like I do get that side of things of like trying to package things and trying to, yeah, sell it to people in a way that's more than just the thing. Like, it's like it's more like you always have an
Yeah.
idea that you're trying to sell at the same time.
Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, these are the guys who are at the forefront of, the music industry. And not that, yeah, I guess, they are eventually the ones who set the standard or set the pace. But, I'll press play, bro, and that's about it. If it's a garbage rollout, I'll just wait for the thing to come out. I don't care. I'll press play, and that's about it. If I don't press play again after that, sorry, that's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, I need to be focused, bro. So I consume music. Like I'm one of the few artists that I know actually, bro, who just consumes music, like listens to other artists all fucking day, bro. A lot of my friends, like Zulo, who's my best friend, he doesn't listen to music, bro. He only listens to his stuff. And it's like, bro, what do you mean? Like, you don't like music? Like, I'll wake up in the morning, bro, and I'll just play music that just sets the tone. And it won't be any of mine. It won't even be music that's going to influence me immediately, maybe in like a few years, because it's part of my DNA now. But, like I'm focused when it comes to making my music, and just where I draw my inspiration from now. It's like not so much from other artists. So, I mean, Kanye, he really pushed the envelope for a very long time, up until I don't know. He just decided, you know what, I'm tired, and it's not like his older stuff, his older work is gone. It's still there, but it's just the newer stuff. Can miss me. So yeah, man, I just kind of now focus on just trying to solve my own problems. Like I said, being an independent artist, doing this whole label shit myself, I have my own unique problems that other artists don't have. So it requires me to think beyond just my artistry. Like I make sure, bro, like I never compromise the artistry itself. So I'll have my good year or two or a couple of months making music. I'll never interrupt that process with anything else. I'll make the music finish and then close that room, bro. Once we're done, we don't need to go back into that room because we're done completely. And that's when we activate this marketing stuff, this marketing thinking, this networking, this needing to be present, all this shit, bro. Like I said the other day, bro, um, what did I say? Something along the lines of for you to promote or push something that you're attached to completely, you need to be detached,
I saw that. Yeah.
similarly or even more. Yeah, and just be your biggest fan. So, bro, the things I'm doing it as a fan of my music. You know what I mean? I'm doing it as a fan, and that's the only shit that drives me because I feel like everybody needs to know how dope this guy is, and I'm gonna make sure, as the number one fan, make sure people know all this shit. So that's all these efforts, bro. So I'm really excited, man, just about what's happening this Friday. It's like it feels like a birthday. I do feel like a release is like a birth, but this is actually more exciting than my actual birthday, bro. How crazy is that?
No, I mean that definitely makes sense. Like, you don't get to choose your birthday. And like as you get older, birthdays get worse.
Yeah,
So, you know.
yeah. Hey
But
man, listen, bro. I miss you, man. By the way, I don't know. Like just talking to you right now, it just kind of pulled at my heartstring a little bit. I don't know. It's weird.
well, we'll hang out again soon enough. Like I'm
Yeah,
hoping to travel a bit more next year and yeah, just try
yeah,
and do comedy in different cities. Like, yeah, for me, it's just like
yeah,
I've been thinking a lot about the whole thing of getting people into, through the doors and giving a fuck about
yeah.
the art that I create. Hence some of the questions. But that's a me thing that I'm gonna have to deal with, and I'm just gonna take some notes. So with your rollout, especially with this track that to the people listening is coming out today. So go check out ByLwansta's socials to find everything. What time are you putting this out? You said you're doing it at night.
Yeah, yeah. So I've got like a music video that we've kind of created for that. So I've got an actual premiere that I'm trying to execute like at a space where I put up a projector, a
Nice.
screen, and then I just have anybody who's keen, because I don't want everything to just live on the internet. So I want to have
Yeah.
moments I create with these stickers, with this condom box. So there's going to be a premiere, and I think by the time people hear this, I'll have announced it already. But 7 p.m. tonight, and we're putting up the projector, possibly in Maboneng. Whoever hits me up first and says, "Yo, come use our space." But yeah, that's what's happening. But we've got a video. It's in a countdown on YouTube. And I'm gonna be dressed in my suit because I am that guy now who is running a business. And yeah, that's gonna be exciting, bro. That's what we're doing on Friday, which is today.
Sweet. Well, I mean, it might have been yesterday or a week ago or a year ago, depending on when people are listening.
Yeah.
Podcasts are
Yeah,
fucking
no, of
weird with the
course.
way that they live. Like you're having the conversation that you're having on that day, but that's not the conversation that people are listening to, or that is. I don't know. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I try to get philosophical and I fucked it
No,
up, which I guess is a great sign for my comedy career.
sure.
Um, yeah, man,
Sure.
sweet, dude. Thank you so much for your time. This has been such a great chat, and yeah, man, I definitely miss you too. And like I say, like I am definitely gonna make more efforts to be in other places. So I'm definitely gonna be near you at some
Yeah.
point, and we can hang the fuck out. And yeah, we can share some Long Island iced teas.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. That would be cool. That would be fun.
What up? This is Don Salamanca, aka Daki.
This is T-Swag, aka Art Papi, aka the hottest podcast host in the country, and my sidekick.
Please check out our podcast where we cover a whole lot of challenges that artists encounter dealing with finance. I believe you'll get a whole lot of knowledge if you're an artist of any kind.
Finance for hippies, for artists.
Or a normal person trying to get a bit of knowledge of how certain financial matters work.
Exactly.
Better than The Rock and Stone Cold. Better than
The Usos.
Better than Hardy Boys of podcasting. DX Generation.
The Brothers of Destruction.
Better than
Rock and Soccer Connection.
For sure.
Check out the Almost Perfect podcast on all streaming platforms and on YouTube.
War against broke, we fight no white flag.